today. My name is Albert Bardet. I'm a lawyer, although not registered in Japan, and I am very much interested in art. So this is going to explain the reason for the two courses that we are going to introduce today. I have been living in Japan for 17 years already, although it looks as it were yesterday when I came. And I had the pleasure of collaborating with SIS for many years. In fact, our relationship started, if I remember well, 12 years ago. So we were having courses on the contracts, on finance, and on art issues. 2 years ago we had a break, and we resumed our activities last semester. Good evening. So we are going to introduce today two different courses that are related to my background. One is about contracts in English, understanding contracts in English, agreements, business agreements, and the other one is about art appreciation. And because we have already installed the computer and connected this to the TV set, we are going to start with the art-related course. But because we are very few, I don't want to make it like 1 hour talking and you just sitting down and suffering my talk. So we are going to do a little bit some interactive issues, and particularly the art-related course is something that really give us the opportunity of doing that. When we go to a museum or we enter into an art gallery, we have a tendency to see paintings rather than looking at paintings. Seeing a painting is just passing by and not spending more than, 10-15 seconds. We like it, we don't like it, the color is not nice, the shape or the topic. Well, we are missing a lot if we just do that. Rather than seeing the painting, let's try to look at the painting. Because the more we know about what is in the painting, the more we will enjoy art. And I can tell you that the more we enjoy art, the more we can enjoy our own lives. This is an example. You go to a museum or you open an art book, you see this painting. What is your first reaction? What do you think is the topic of this painting? This is not a test, so please feel free to shoot any comment. There is no wrong or right answer. What is the topic, do you think? What was the purpose of this, of the painter to paint this painting? Maybe you are attracted by the image, so you get closer. If it's in a museum, you want to see the title. And you look at this, you look at the period, 17th century, Sur Laurent is the painter. So what? What do you think is behind the painting? What is your reaction? What is the topic? Yes. So, what may be the topic? What was the reason? Why do you think that someone contacted this specific painter to have this painting made? Okay. Would you say that this is a landscape painting? Certainly no, we don't see any landscape. Would you say this is a religious painting? Do you think it's a still life painting, where we have animals or fruits or... Well, certainly it's a very complicated, it's a difficult painting, although in 17th century it was a very popular topic. And I can tell you that this particular type of painting is a religious painting. Let's see another example try to make things easier to understand. Maybe you will say, oh, okay, this is a painting that it's easier to understand. Who may be the woman reflected in that image? Maria. Okay. So certainly Maria, Mother of God for Christians. So everyone will say, well, this is easy to understand. I don't need 5 seconds to say that this is a religious painting. And certainly it is a religious painting, but it's not only a religious painting. You will be surprised to know that also in the 17th century, this is a painting with a political meaning. I'm not going to tell you today why. It will be developed in the seminar. But certainly this painting that looks completely religious, you can see Maria, you can see the halo, you can see symbols related to God and purity of Maria. Putting all those things together, certainly it's a religious image, but it is not only that. It is a painting with a clear political meaning. These 2 examples just to say that seeing a painting is not enough. Looking at a painting will give us more information. Now, how can we get that knowledge? How can we know that that lamp tied up had a religious meaning? And this painting that looks completely religious has a political meaning? Well, those are things that we will be developing during this semester on the course on art. People analyzing this topic have been for many years searching for clues on how to understand paintings. How? From contrasts linking the painter and the person commissioning the painting. Sometimes it was the royal family. The royal family contact a painter, say, please do this portrait of the family. And that conversation, it's a pure business. Someone asking someone else to do something. So systematically that was reflected in a particular contract. But contracts related to paintings are not just specifying how much it costs, when is it supposed to be paid. Not only that, the contract itself reflects things like what is going to be the size of the painting, what is going to be the location, where are we going to place the painting, so that maybe the perspective has to be different. You see, if the painting is to be placed at 3 meters from soil in a wall on a cathedral, the perspective has to be different than if we place the painting here at the side of the ice. The contract itself is going to tell us a lot of information about what type of symbols have to be contained in the painting itself. You can imagine that for this particular painting, it's not just the freedom of the painter to paint like this type of palace, this one also, the moon here, this palm, the sea, everything has a meaning. And all those symbols contain a specific concept. Those things were reflected in the contract. So we can get a lot of information from those contracts. So we can know what is the real meaning of paintings. And the thing is that those symbols do not appear only in just one painting. You can imagine that those symbols are like the symbols that we use today. If we do this, it means okay, it means everything goes fine. And in 21st century, everyone understands this. At that time, it was the same thing. If Maria was positioned on top of the moon, everyone understood in the 17th century the meaning for that. If these buildings were built and placed close to Maria, everyone at that time knew why, knew their meaning. We are now far distant from 17th, 18th, 16th centuries. Unfortunately, we have lost the conscience of such meanings. We use codes today that were different from the codes used in the past. Fashions change. Symbols change. If we know the meaning of those symbols, our knowledge, our appreciation of that particular painting will be increased. Certainly, it's not only a question of knowing more about art. This course is in English. So certainly, every single session, we will be experimenting with our know-how in English, discussing paintings, discussing works of art. I do the course very interactive. Why? Because, again, art is a fascinating topic, I think. But it is more if we do interaction with members. I ask questions about what do you see here? Why do you think is the meaning of that? Questions like this. I will tell you, certainly, what were the main used symbols at that time. And what were the meanings. But this will not be a theoretical class. I will help you understanding those symbols. But after explaining those symbols, I will show you other paintings where you will see some small differences to see if you are able to understand and to grasp the meaning of such symbols. Again, the course takes place in English, so automatically our English knowledge discussing about art will be automatically increased. You smile. No, it's true. I mean, the fact of using English for some specific topic will give us more confidence. Okay? I don't want to say, okay, there are right or wrong answers. Every opinion, if it's well argumented with some reason, will be accepted, of course. At the same time, the course aims at giving everyone a basic or medium knowledge about history of art. We will end the semester knowing what is the difference between historical periods in art. For instance, if we see examples like these ones, we will end up knowing why this particular work of art is Romanesque in Middle Age. What are the elements in this art of work that let us know pretty much when it was made? In this case, it was 12th, beginning of 13th century. Middle Age. Romanesque style. Why? We will pinpoint here the reason why this art of work is to be considered as Romanesque. What were the main elements at that time used in paintings? We will continue through history. We will get to know why these type of images were considered to be Gothic. So we will end up knowing why, although all these paintings are Middle Age, why these are called Romanesque, what are their main elements, what are their main symbols, what do they mean to us. why this one in particular is Gothic, why next one is supposed to be Renaissance, although if you look at the face of this lady, you automatically may be thinking about some painter. Someone will say Leonardo da Vinci. It's not a Leonardo da Vinci work, but it looks like. So certainly it's a Renaissance painter. Michelangelo. Yeah, no, I mean, more, a little bit more Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael, because it's very soft. Michelangelo was, certainly it has also paintings with Maria. This is not Maria, by the way, but some soft style, but yeah, it's the same period. Or why this is Baroque, with many things, many different things taking place. With many different portraits on the low side of the painting, and a different, completely different background on top of it. Why this painting is supposed to be Baroque? What are the reasons for that? What does it mean that a painting is Baroque, it's not Renaissance, it's not Romanesque or Gothic, and so on? I mean, the point is that through history, there have been many different arts of work, and fashions change, symbols change, and we will see at paintings, and we will discuss what is the reason for the symbols contained there. And by decoding the meaning of those images, we will get to know more about the painting. So on one side, we will increase our art-related knowledge. On the other side, we will increase our standard English knowledge, because it will be always question-answer type of interaction. It will not be only increased in our standard English, it's also, this is an art-related course. So we will be developing our skills in interpreting art. So those are the different purposes that this course will develop. Sessions take place, if I remember well, during 2 hours. In those 2 hours, at the beginning, I will briefly pinpoint symbols used in particular periods of time. And those symbols will be explained. Why that particular animal, or why that particular plant or color had some specific meaning at that time, in the 18th century or in the 19th century. After that explanation, that will not be done on a very theoretical level, not at all. In fact, the purpose is to help you understand next time you open an art book or you go to an art gallery and you see an image containing that particular scene. Now I know why this painting contains this here, and the color and the shape, and I can understand the topic, and I can explain the meaning of the artwork. Any questions so far? What I said is clear? Or do you have some comment, or something was not... If there is something that I say and it's obscure or it's not clear to you, please shoot me. I don't know if you have talked to other participants in other semesters here with me, but probably if you have done so, all of them told you that I am a very easygoing guy, so please you relax. And certainly this, through art, we will be checking many different things. For instance, fashion. fashions change through history, from Renaissance to Baroque, Rococo, 19th century, and those fashions change, but fashions also had a philosophical meaning. Why in the previous paintings we have seen black colors used systematically, while later on colors start to appear? What is the meaning for that? What is the meaning of colors in paintings? What is the meaning of particular costumes, using different size and using different colors? They had a meaning in 17th century, in 18th century, 19th century, even today, but certainly in the past even more. We will be checking those issues. Changes, for instance, in fashion. We will see also how paintings had a meaning behind. Very often when we look at paintings from the past, paintings have a meaning behind. It's not only what we see. Again, we saw that with the lamp a few minutes ago. Here, for instance, we say, what a painting. We may like it or we may not. I mean, we will like the painting if we like the combination of colors. If not, we will say, I don't understand this painting. Why the painter is putting a bunch of things there, like carrots, like apples, lemons, some dead animals, dead game. Well, when we understand what is the meaning, in this case, philosophical meaning of this painting, we have to think, what I will ask from all of you is just one thing. If you participate in the course, I want you that every time you cross that door, you have to forget that you are living in 21st century. Because in the 21st century we have some way of thinking, and we will say, who can imagine to put painting apples in a window of a house? What does it mean? Or why something like that looks like yakitori, Japanese yakitori? What is the meaning for that there? I mean, this is nonsense. If we think with a 21st century mindset. So I will ask you please to forget that. To come here with a very active attitude, asking yourself questions. I will help you. As I said at the beginning of the sessions, I will give you explanations on the most used symbols in painting in the past. And once you know that know-how, I will test you with other paintings, with other similar paintings. I use the word test you. I don't want to say that because some people panic. This is an opportunity for you just to increase your knowledge about art and to experience a more positive and more active attitude on art. Okay. And again, the point is that those symbols, is not that, because someone may ask, if we have to memorize every single symbol, the meaning of every single symbol in each painting, we will never end, because there are millions of paintings through history. Well, don't worry, it's not as complicated as that. There are certain symbols that appear very, very often in many paintings. Just by knowing the meaning of what those 100, 200 symbols, you will get to know the meaning of thousands of paintings. For instance, this one in particular, people will say, This is, sorry. Many people will look at this painting and will see only flowers, which is normal because, in fact, these are flowers. But when we start looking in detail at the painting, it means we just don't just see the painting, but look at the painting. We will start to know some interesting details, like, for instance, we see some insects there. Insects? What are they doing? Well, I mean, they are trying to survive, certainly, but and we see that some flowers are already laying down on that table. We see lizards. We start asking ourselves, so then this is not a painting only about flowers. It has some other meaning. What is the meaning? I will tell you what is the meaning. And the fact is that there are hundreds of paintings where we can see also insects, where we can see combinations of things like in this one. So by knowing this particular painting, we will get to know automatically all those hundreds, thousands of paintings in 17th century, 18th century. So just in summary, I will finalize with a different painting. In fact, the purpose of the seminar is to have fun. To have fun by experiencing in English hours of discussion talking about art. And it's not only about talking about art, it's to increase our knowledge. And I can tell you, because this course is something that we have organized in the past here, that people end up the seminars with an increased knowledge of English, standard English, with an increased knowledge of art-related English, certainly, because the presentations that we have to do, the discussion that we have to do, and also certainly knowledge about to appreciate art. When I say presentations, maybe you have in mind, oh, I have to come here and do a presentation in front of everyone. In fact, I don't want to do that because I don't want to put people on the spot. When I say presentations, is that every single time that I will be asking questions about what do you think about this, what may be the meaning of that, why, what was the purpose of the person requesting that painting, I will be asking for such questions to get answers that you can give me some argument. So even from there, you will be like doing a mini presentation explaining why you think that way. With the knowledge that we have elaborated here about these symbols mean this, you will use that know-how, and from your place you will say, well, I think that in particular this painting means this and this because we can see some objects or some animals placed this way. So these are like mini presentations. So that's the meaning of presentations. It's not the issue of coming here with a well-memorized presentation that you have developed for 1 week and then explain it here. No, I don't want to put you, I want to put people on the spot. Is there any question? We have, I wanted to spend 30 minutes on this course. Anything that is not clear to you? Do you have some question? Do you go often to museums, or do you see sometimes art books, or
Manhattan.
Oh.
I and my older sister went to some museums, Metropolitan Museum and Modern Art Museum, and Natural Museum.
Okay.
American Museum. And I also went to Getty in Los Angeles. So, in Japan, if students take to your class, which museum will visit?
Well, I mean, we will not go to museums from here, but I can recommend you, I mean, certainly the museums that you just listed are impressive, are very good. I'm sure you spend a very good time there. But even without leaving Tokyo, you can enjoy a wonderful museum in Ueno, the Museum of Western Art. The permanent collection is magnificent. And you have paintings from Middle Age, Renaissance, Baroque paintings. I don't know if you have been there, but if not, I recommend you to go this Saturday. It's very cheap, the permanent collection, not the exhibits, temporary exhibits, although please go to the temporary exhibits. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go, of course not. But the permanent collection, the access is very easy and it's a great collection, for instance. The museum in Ginza, the Ishibashi collection, is also great, completely different period, more Picasso, 20th century.
That sounds very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the museums in Tokyo are fantastic, and a little bit just outside of Tokyo there is also a large repertoire of interesting museums. How about you? Have you been to museums? No, why not?
I think I never really understood the meaning. I never really saw the meaning in the paintings. I always saw the skills of the painter, and I thought the skills that they had were great, but I didn't really question. And that's probably why I never was really intrigued by it. But today I heard a presentation and I realized something that I didn't before.
Don't miss the chance. Don't miss the chance. I mean, in fact, your comments, it's very enlightening to me, because you have confessed that, okay, I haven't done that. I had somehow that mystery around saying I was somehow interested in that, but I didn't do that step. Certainly, by knowing just a little bit about art, our understanding increases, and I'm sorry to tell you that it becomes like a drug. The more you know, the more you want to know, and the more you want to see and to look at. So I'm here just tempting you to get trapped in the words of a drug. This is a drug. How about you?
Of course, I enjoyed watching paintings of previous centuries, but my favorite museum is called Oki Bijutsuka in Shiba City. It's on the Mr. collected only very realistic paintings, just like photographs. And he's a very successful businessman. And then when he turned 50, he started collecting very realistic, only realistic paintings. The most impressive one is the painter draw his dying father, who's aged 96, and he's dying. And he very in detail. He drew his dying father very detailed, and I can feel his breathing, really probably asthma or something, and breathing, and his face is very turned brown and wrinkled, and he didn't shave his face for a few days, and something like he just died in front of me. And it was so shocking, but also I couldn't move from this huge painting, and I spent probably 20 or more minutes in front of that painting. It was like more than just painting.
So you certainly look at the painting, you just didn't see, just you look at the painting. Great, I mean, two things only to tell you. Certainly this course is more related about Western art because, again, my background is legal. The connection that I do between my background and this course is that the knowledge that I got about the meaning of symbols in art comes from readings, comes from different issues, but particularly by checking contracts in the past that were used for these artworks. So that way is the legal background is connected with the art. And that's certainly the area where I can say something here that can be of some interest to participants. That's why I am not choosing, for instance, Japanese art. Not because I think it's not good, not at all. I mean, I enjoy going to museums in Japan, looking at images like ukiyo-e and things like that, because it's very interesting. But I feel that many Japanese people have a higher knowledge about those artworks than myself. I am very interested in them, but I don't feel like coming here and explaining about ukiyo-e, for instance. This is one issue. So that's why we are focused on Western art, that I think can be of some interest to some people. Okay. And second thing, also very similar, I will say some comment, is that you already have crossed that border. You really enjoy art. You are focused on that type of art. Well, that ambition and that interest that you have so far focused on that particular painter, that particular type of work, why you don't grow, make it broader and get more interested also in, for instance, what I'm proposing here, Western art. It's just an invitation.
Actually, I want to add a comment.
Oh, okay.
Impressions. I like Monet.
Right.
And every time I hear the Monet exhibition will be held, I go there, even it's far from here. So.
And even if it's crowded. Then let me please invite you again to visit the Ueno Museum. I'm sure you have been already there. There is no one, the permanent collection, and you can enjoy 4 hours there. Also, they have a very good collection of impressions. Excellent, very good. Thank you very much. Do you have some additional question, comment? If not, we jump into some more, some drier issues. Okay. All right. So we will take away the colors and shapes and things like that, and we will jump into the fascinating world of business contracts. Well, I don't know, do you have, any of you have legal background or?
I do, but I'm a translator and sometimes translate contracts as well. And that's why I want to learn more.
Very good.
I also sometimes interpret as well. Looking at specifications.
Okay, specifications, technical specifications that appear in contracts, okay.
Once I worked as a librarian, and I had to read paper documents of the contract between the publishers when we subscribe electronic journals, and also I was kind of a secretary for a laboratory, so every day they have chemical waste, and I had care of it legally. So it was so complicated that it was not hidden.
Well, no, certainly that's not my purpose here. I don't want to make anyone feel headache. No, the reason for my question is because certainly the course has to be somehow adapted to the background of the participants. In the past, I remember one particular semester where 2 participants were lawyers. So, of course, they expected, and we had to raise the level in our discussions on contracts. Usually, that's not the case. Usually, most of the participants are working in companies where, as some of you have to read and understand a contract in order to discuss or negotiate with some partner. Some other people are involved in the translation business. Some people have no relation whatsoever, but they know that their companies are negotiating some issues with another company and they want to know what is the importance of negotiating about contracts. The course, the purpose is to show you in a very easy to understand way something that I understand is, and I confess it's complicated. Legal agreements, business contracts are a difficult topic. But that's my job here. How can I make something that it's really difficult, easy to understand to anyone with a certain level of English? That's my responsibility. And what we do here in this course is through the years of collaborating with SIS on this course, I've been searching for many different types of English contracts that companies use these days. And I try to get the most representative clauses from those contracts. Clauses that appear in all contracts. I mean, there are thousands of different types of English contracts, but you will be amazed to know that around 65%, 70% of the clauses in different financial, insurance, whatever you want, types of contracts, 65–70% of the contents are absolutely the same. I mean, this is not an exaggeration, this is statistically proven. All contracts require chapters to say who are the parties signing the contract. All contracts have some particular paragraph indicating what is the purpose of the contract. All the agreements have to say what are the obligations of the parties, what are the rights of the parties. All contracts have a payment clause. When is to be made that payment? Where? How? Contracts have confidentiality clauses. And they look very similar from one contract to the other. All contracts will have things like companies want to say that everything that is included in the contract only have legal power between the parties. Other discussions away from the contract have no meaning. This type of clauses appear systematically in all contracts. So the purpose here is focusing on those clauses that use very standard English and get to know them. Because by knowing those clauses, automatically we will get to know, or we will have enough knowledge to be able to read, understand, and more importantly, discuss, negotiate about contracts. Those clauses, if I remember well, I summarized them in a document that contains, I don't remember now if it's 19 pages or 20 pages. But that's the set, that's the material that we will be using. It's not a book that you will have to purchase. It's a document that I prepare. And that document contains the standard structure of any contract. Most contracts have a very similar structure. Sometimes it can be changed. A confidentiality clause appears at the beginning, sometimes in the middle. That's not a problem. But we will be checking the structure of the contract, and we will be checking specific examples. So when we talk about confidentiality, we will explain here, and you will see that in the material, what is supposed to be contained in such clauses. And then we will see an example. It appears in that material. And then some questions for discussion. And that's for the confidentiality clause. But the clause on tax payment is the same. We will start saying what is supposed to be contained in every single class of tax payment clauses. Very briefly, 3 points, blah, blah, blah. Then the clause itself, a standard clause that has been taken from a specific contract, real contract from the internet, and then some questions. Questions to make the discussion. And again, I never want to put anyone on the spot. I never ask, what's your opinion? I will say, what is your opinion? So everyone is welcome and is invited to jump and give the opportunity to express what they feel. That type of public interaction makes some other participants feel more relaxed and also willing to participate. The purpose, again, is to finish the sessions with a basic knowledge of business contracts. So I want you, and I think we will get, you will lose fear of approaching contracts. You will be able to read contracts. Sometimes people open a contract and suddenly they see a word that it's the first time they read it and they say, okay, this is not for me. So you will lose that fear. It's true that going through the classes, you will also get some additional knowledge about legal vocabulary. So in that sense, you will lose that fear. So you will lose that fear. You will increase your self-confidence. You will end up the seminar saying, maybe before the seminar, maybe you were saying that, oh, we are going to discuss the contract? Okay, well, I can tell you that after the seminar, you will say, you will not be saying the same thing, you will be saying, where is the contract to discuss it? Which is different. So you will increase your self-confidence. You will be able to read the contract, to go through the contract. Contracts are not read like novels. You open a novel, you read the novel from the beginning to the end. That's not the way to read contracts. I will tell you how to read contracts. It's not from the beginning to the end. It's asking questions and looking different clauses and paragraphs. So you will be able to read contracts and, more important, to understand contracts because the basic know-how will be taught here. And finally, and that's my personal purpose, is that I want to give all the participants enough hints at this basic level to be able to discuss, to negotiate the contract. Because that's what really matters, and that's what the companies ask people to. Why in the contract is written this? Why cannot write this? Well, because they have different meaning. The interest of the parties is different. That's why they decide to do this and not this. Everything written in a contract has a meaning. It's also a world of symbols. It's like art. Art and law are very similar. Questions, comments? As of today, how do you approach contracts? With fear? With fear? Do you have nightmares? Thinking, oh, this is the contract that I have to translate. That's the current situation of you?
Yeah, I am a bit scared to translate because I can't make a mistake, right? So I have so much responsibility, but even in Japanese, like there are so many words that I don't really understand, right? I don't have the background knowledge. So yeah, definitely a lot of internet searching, a lot of work.
Very good. It's one point that I forgot to mention. Again, the course will be also in English. I don't want participants to think in Japanese while attending the course. As I said, I will be explaining those clauses and we will be doing practices on real clauses, but in a standard English. So I want the participants to be interacting with me with their own English. If possible, try to forget Japanese translation of clauses, because then you will get more confusing. But of course, in the translation business, you have to think about the terms in Japanese, but not here, certainly not here in the course. There are no clear statistics about that, but to be able to understand that 65–70% of clauses that appears in all contracts, in all different matters, people require a knowledge of around 3,000 words. I mean, these are not 3,000 words like up, above, down, no, other terms. But those are terms that, just by listening to you right now, I think that very much you know those around 3,000 words. The course will give you some exposure to some additional 500 words or so. And those 500 words, again, please consider that in a very flexible way, those around 500 words will give you some larger exposure and understanding of those contracts. It's not just a question of knowing those specific words, but certainly the meaning of those words will help you understand the expressions stated in the contract itself. So certainly it's a purpose of the course, to increase your own English ability and your legal ability. What about you?
Well, I feel every time I see a contract document, I feel the style of these writings really ambiguous and just probably trying to escape that responsibility. Escape. It's so confusing.
Okay, certainly contracts shouldn't be ambiguous. In fact, one problem, we will have a big problem if the contract is ambiguous. Contracts have to be precise, certainly. Most people have that first opinion about contracts. It's a difficult issue, I better not touch it, because it's complicated. I'm telling you, it's not easy. However, there are easier ways to understand contracts. So please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that understanding contracts is easy. It's a very difficult issue. What I'm saying is that that difficult issue, that difficult matter, can be learned and can be taught in an easier to understand. And by using basic English, you can get to know those components. And again, that's my responsibility. And I will not escape from that responsibility. So, yeah, I cannot tell you, during this semester I want everyone to have fun. Whoa, that would be ideal. As you can imagine, it's much easier to have fun in a seminar on art and talking about paintings and what is the meaning of colors and how the fashion history changes, and that's reflected in paintings and so on. Certainly it's easy to have fun on that. In that sense, I cannot say you will be having fun in the business contract, but what I can tell you is that you will not have headaches. I don't know who said the headache. You will not have headaches, and you will surprise yourself at saying, "Wow, something that really looked very complicated to me, even ambiguous or whatever, it's clear now." And it became clear by using standard English. So you will be surprised. You will surprise yourself. That's the purpose of the course. To get to know something that in principle is complex, but it will be taught in an easier to understand way, and you will see that it's possible to get some knowledge about that. Because again, 65–70% of clauses are systematically used in every single type of business agreement. So that's everything that I wanted to say. If anyone wants to add up or make some additional question. Interaction, very interactive attitude in both courses. But again, people do not feel like they are put on the spot. I don't ask questions of particular people. I ask questions to everyone. So every single person with some issue to say to the group is welcome to jump. So no stress, no headaches, a lot of fun in the art-related work, a lot of surprises in the legal course, because you will be surprised to get that you are getting to know something that you didn't know in the past in an easier way. So that's what I can guarantee you. And that's everything that I have to say. Thank you very much.